We're here today with Leo Waskosky from Henning, Minnesota. This is Marcia Davis doing the interview and Carol McCarthy, the videographer. We're doing this interview for the Perham Veterans Museum, in their own words, Veterans Museum. Leo, we'll start out by just talking about when you were in the service, what your rank was, what time of year it was you went in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I started out in September. I was drafted into the Army, and then I went to Fort Hood down in Texas, and I had basic training there till, oh golly, that was about the first week in January when I got a furlough to go home. And then after that, I went to California, and I was there for about a week before we got on the ship to go over to South Pacific.
Did you have some kind of specialized training that you were being trained for?
Just infantry.
Infantry.
Yeah, just infantry training. And from California, we went, I don't know how they went, but we wound up down in New Guinea. So it was awful hot down there. It was 10 below at least up in Minnesota, but down there it was about 95 to 100 degrees temperature, so that was quite a change. But then we never got off of the boat in New Guinea. We joined the convoy then and went to the Philippines. And on that convoy, it was so big you couldn't see anything but ships as far as you could see, you know.
What year was this?
That was 1945. In the January, well, when I went over there in January, and then it took us, I think about a month to get down to New Guinea, and then from there to the Philippines was almost another month, I guess, in that convoy.
And how many people were on your ship?
It was about 11,000 on the ship, that's the way I understand. It was, they call them a general ship or something like that, General Hayes, I think it was. But we got to the Philippines, and they had already had, the military was there, where that was, Logan is where that General MacArthur land, you know, if I have returned, that's where he landed. But when we come there, we was just on there for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I guess. And all we did at that time, there was the other armies were up in the hills and everything, but we was unloading ammunition from these army ducks. They'd go to the ship and then come in, and there was about 40 acres of military ammunition and stuff, and we unloaded that, and then we got shipped from there up to Luzon, and was put in the infantry. I got into the 25th Division there. We went up to Manila, is where we got off at a replacement depot there, and then we got put into the 25th Division. And that was about first part of April when I got there. And from there, I was just a replacement in the infantry. They was down, I don't know. At that time, infantry platoon was about, 36 people, men or something like that. And the company was supposed to be about 180 or 85 or something like that. They were down to, it was less than 100, probably 75. And then we got put in that company, and they were in the 25th Division, but I was in the 161st Infantry Regiment. So after that, we got in the hills where they had come back and they took fill up with replacements.
So what was your typical day like there?
Day and night.
Was you just,
Yeah.
just working and unloading things all the time? Or?
Well, no, that was when I was in Leyte. But when we got into the division in Luzon, that was the infantry. Well, we were put into the company, and it was just a few days, and we was up on the front line, and we was there from that time till July when we got relieved. I mean, but we got, there was so many of them shot off. It come to about 8 out of 10 was casualties, and I was lucky. But when we got to where our campaign, we got to the Val Verde Trail, there was 18 of us left in that company.
Out of originally?
Out of 180 or 85, what they're supposed to be. So we were pretty well thinned out, but then we got relieved, our whole 3rd Battalion, when we got relieved, we got on 3 trucks, and it held the whole 3rd Battalion.
How old were you at this time?
19.
19.
Well, I landed on Leyte, I was 18. I had my birthday there about, the 21st, I suppose I was there. Oh, golly, a couple of weeks or so, a month maybe. Then it was my birthday on the 21st.
How long was it you were up on the front lines?
From April to about July, the first part of July. Then our campaign, I guess that division come to that Val Verde Trail. That was, I suppose, the end of the campaign for that division. There was still more going on up to the Cungayan Valley. But the 6th Division come in there, and 32nd Division was there too. But we were relieved. And then we just went back along that Highway 5 and kind of dug in and stayed for road patrol, so that they kept the road open.
What were your feelings when you were up there on the front lines? I mean, it must have been very frightening for a 19-year-old and everything that was happening.
It's about all their nerves can stand.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you would say it when there's a few people, they'd call it shell shock, but it was just too much nerves. And but our problem too, we didn't get anything to eat. We had them sea rations and that stuff. But we was 48 days in a row that they finally come up to us with a bulldozer, and they brought us up some, good cooked food and stuff. And we were so skinny at the time we couldn't eat. I mean, you couldn't eat a good pork chop.
Well, didn't your weight?
It was crazy.
You lost a lot of weight then, right?
Yeah, I lost, I don't know, everybody. We looked like a bunch of ghosts when we got done. But I don't know,
Didn't you tell me your waist went from a 34 to a 28?
Yeah, it did.
When we talked earlier.
Yeah, I know, got a new pair of fatigues when I got relieved there, and he measured me out to say, well, what size do you need? I said 34, and he looked at 28 fit just right,
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
So, tell me about, the sea rations, they come in a little package?
Yeah, they had some in little tin cans. There were 3 little cans, and then you had some in a package with crackers and cheese and different stuff like that. There was one, I don't know, they call it a D-bar. It was a bar about, 5-6 inches long and about a 3/4 inch thick. it was all vitamins and it was chocolate and whatever it was. That gives you the energy, you know, them other things. But I know when we got relieved, we had good food then. They had good, but it took a long time to be able to eat very much, you know.
I'm sure your
Our
stomach
gut
was
was so shrunk up that we couldn't eat. But, well, I don't know. It went pretty good after that. But then we got relieved from there. We went back for, they called it Camp Patrick. That was supposed to be there for 30 days rest period. And in that 30 days, well, we got started. I was there when they started setting up the camp, the tents and everything. But then I got this hepatitis. So I got hauled off to the hospital. At that time, it was the 36 evac hospital was just tents, you know. And they had a lot of guys that hepatitis. I don't know what it was the cause of it, but I know the malnutrition was a big part of the reason he got it, you know. But I was in that hospital, and after about 3 weeks or so, I got the feeling pretty good then, you know. When I was going to get back to the company in the infantry and start training for going to Japan. That's the day the war was over. It was
It was probably, did you feel relieved or?
Oh, I guess so. You couldn't hardly admit it.
Yeah.
You can't.
You went through some tough times, obviously.
Yeah, it was.
And,
But from then on, everything, you know, was more, it wasn't so nerve-wracking and stuff. We were still training a little bit there, but it was more enjoyable there. We was on the range for firing and shooting bazookas and stuff, and I enjoyed that. I mean, but we knew the war was over, so we didn't have to worry about anything. But then after, I don't know what day it was, what time it was in September, when we went from there to Japan. And that was quite a trip there. We got caught in one of them hurricanes, you know, and that thing, of course, in them ships, it's just up and groaning away, but they close everything up, you can't get on top, see. But it was, I don't know, almost a week, I guess.
do you remember the name of the ship when you went across?
No, I don't know what the name of that was. There was another troop ship, I forget. I know it was over 11,000 people on that one, because, you know, but...
Probably a lot of sick people on board.
No, they weren't.
They didn't get sick from
Not
that?
too bad. See, they were used to it already.
Oh.
They had traveled enough, they were used to it. Yeah, that seasick, that when you first get on the ship, about the 3-4 days, that's the worst. And then after you get used to it, then you never don't bother. There is a few of them. I know there was one poor feller when we left Philippines to go to Japan. He was sick all the way, all the time, every day, till we got to Japan. Of course, then he get around and then he was all right again. Just that rocking and seasickness. It's crazy stuff.
He never got his sea legs.
No, I don't know. It's kind of funny feeling to be that way, but after you get used to it, then it don't bother you. I think like the people in the Navy, you know, it must be the same with them because they get used to it. They don't bother them. You know, they're in there for years, you know.
How long did it take you to get from the Philippines to Japan?
I think it was close to a month. Because I don't know. We was in just an enormous convoy again, but we was I know it was a week or 10 days that we couldn't even get on the deck because of that water. You know, we go over. But we got a lot of card playing in, then you know.
So tell me about your 30 days on board the ship. Tell me about a typical day on board the ship. What did you do besides you played cards?
Yeah. Well, on the ship, see, there's so many people there. You would get 2 meals a day, and you had to go all around back to the kitchen part or the stuff. And by the time you went around that many times, there was only time for 2 meals a day, you know. But we had good food on there. I mean, they were good food, but you know, it was just so many people, you can serve only so much at a time, you know. And but at that time we weren't worried because the war was over, and it was just we kind of wondered what it was going to be when we got to Japan, you know.
So what did you heard about the end of the war? What kind of news had been given to you? Did you hear about the bombs or?
Oh,
exactly what happened?
yeah, we got that news when we were in the Philippines yet. I mean, it was just the day they said they surrendered. That was the day we heard about it. It travels fast. Of course, at that time, you know, you got all the big army people and stuff. They pass it on pretty fast. It's there was no need to keeping any secrets, you know.
When you got to Japan, what happened? You know, when
Oh.
the ship came in there.
Yeah, that was kind of different. We come there. We were some of the first troops in there. We landed, docked there by Wakayama, but then we didn't get off the ship there. We went to Yokohama and got off the ship in Yokohama, and then from there we went, I don't know how far it was, but there was a Japanese air base for their fighter planes, I guess. And then we were stationed there for, well, from when we got off in September till about in November, then we moved again. But we were stationed there. We had just tents to live in and stuff. And then when it got towards November, then it got colder and stuff. So we moved to Osaka after that. And then they had, well, I don't know what it was, if it was Japanese college place or something. Anyway, big buildings, pretty nice place to live, you know. And we got good food and everything there. But when we was in that air base, it was kind of disgusting. I don't know if it was the cook's fault but we was getting food like sea rations thrown into a kettle and made into stew. And we went for about a month doing that, you know. It got sickening. I know when we was on guard, we'd get into the regimental supply, and them that got into regimental supply, we had these overcoats on. You had to come out of there with whatever you could grab a hold of, you know, and bring home. Like this fruit cocktail and different kind of sauce or whatever was fit to eat good, you know. And then we'd have a snack after we got off the guard while we'd have something to eat. But it was kind of comical to have to do that.
So what were your duties once you were in Japan and you were situated at what you said was the college?
Yeah. Well, it was just guarding the places, and it really more or less guarding the stuff and I don't know, more so nobody would steal anything or like that. But it wasn't you know, real dangerous duty or anything like that. The Japanese people when we first got there, we thought, well, holy smokes, there ain't none of them left. But we was there for about a month, and then you wonder where they all come from, you know. But evidently they were in caves, and you know, and they found out that they weren't going to get hurt, so then they come out and they started their daily business and stuff. It was pitiful to see them. I mean, people that get down that bad, their leaders don't have a brain in their head, you know, to let their people get down to such a situation. I know some of them people that were taking care of them Japanese when they were coming. That's where they used DDT to get them, because they were, I don't know, mites or different kind of disease and stuff. It found out later years, you know, DDT wasn't the smartest thing, but I think it probably saved a lot of lives there to keep their sickness down at that time. And I know that they had to do it, I suppose, in order to, you know, keep them from, how could they take care of all them people with all the insects or whatever they had, you know. But, well, when I was in Japan, then from Osaka, then some of the guys that was working in the PX were in our company, in our tent. And me and another boy, he said he knew about that. He says, why don't we go up there and put in for the job? And I thought, well, that'd be a miracle, but it don't gonna hurt to try. Got into the PX just like that, because I don't know, just hit it just right, you know, they needed some new guys in there, and the other guys were going home, so we got the job. And then in that PX, then they started, you know, getting bigger. It was just a little building to start with, you know, but as it grew, they built up a new big building, pretty near like Walmart has now, you know. After a few months of that, they built up quite a place. But we got sent from there, from Osaka then. Oh, we went to Kobe for a while had a little PX there, but that didn't last very long. Then they sent us back to Wakayama, and we had just one battalion there, and that was kind of good duty as far as that goes. You know, we had the PX there, and we had the beer garden and all that. But
A little more relaxing?
oh yeah, yeah. And, you know, it was put in quite a few hours of work, but it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of, and them guys in the motor pool was kind of interesting. Them guys like beer too, and wasn't supposed to take beer out of there, you know. But, you know, when you can get a ride sometime like on a Sunday or a weekend, them guys would get a Jeep to go, and we'd go up in the hills and go see something different. Well, we always had a case of beer along, you know. So they were pretty eager to get you along for the ride too. Everything worked out good that way.
It's a lot better piece of the war than at that period, afterwards.
Yeah, we got good eats. We had good cooks and stuff. We had good food.
Tell me, did you, about your friends in the war, I mean, you know, you made friends, did you keep in contact with anybody?
Not too much, no. I don't know what happened to them. Well, they went home. There was one that was, well, like when I was in the Philippines, there was a first scout in our thing, and there was a guy from Utah. he was, well, we change off as scouts and stuff, but he was about 34 years old, and he had 4 kids. And he, kind of worried about his kids and stuff. But he come through it all right. But he went home sooner because, they had that deal when they had wife and kids at home, they got out sooner. So but I never heard from him or anything after that. But I know there was other ones that I never, got their address or anything to talk to them at their home. So I just remember what I knew when we was in the company.
Did you get mail from home and
Yeah,
very often?
yeah, we'd get, we got our mail, sometime, like in the Philippines, it was probably maybe once a month or something like that for that time. It wasn't as often. But, I don't know. It's quite an experience. It's hard to explain it all, but.
Tell me, from the war, how has that affected your life?
Oh, there's one thing about the war is when you're working with these boys and then you carry them out of the woods all shot up. You don't forget that.
I'm sure you don't.
No. It's hard to take.
And so that's a memory that you carried with you your whole life.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
Very painful memory.
Never forget it.
How else did that affect your life? Did it affect any choices you made in life or a career or anything?
No, as far as the career, I don't know. I had that idea in my head I like to farm. And that's what I did when, as soon as I could get organized after I got out of the service. But, after we got out of the service, my brothers, they got out too, and the 3 of us, we had this, what they call a GI loan and stuff. Well, that gave us a little leverage to buy a farm, and we did, and with our folks, and it was there, all 3 of us, we kind of bought the farm we was living on there.
So that was down in Faribault?
Yeah, that was in Rice County, yeah. So that was our start farming, and we enjoyed that pretty good. But to start farming then, it was the best job you could think of. You could raise 800 bushel of corn and buy a new car or a new pickup. You can't do that now. When you go to work for like construction work and stuff, if they made $1 to $2 an hour, that was real good salary at that time. Well, I mean, farming was a lot better looking deal,
Mm-hmm.
But then it didn't change. The prices ain't that much better today. But then you get, you start producing more, you get more land and produce more to make the difference. I don't know of any other segment in the world that does anything like the farmers did, If they need more income, they got to strike or do something to create more income. Or the farmer, he just produce more and sell it for same price, Yeah.
Leo, you have a book here called 165 Days, the
Yeah.
25th Division on Luzon.
Yeah, I'll show
Would
that.
you like to show us that and tell us a little bit about the book and maybe share what some of the pictures
Oh,
are?
golly. You can handle that probably better than me.
Okay.
See, that starts out where the 25th Division landed in the Canadian Gulf there, and then it shows the 161st Infantry where they went, and it's if you wanted to take that book and make a copy of it and put it in your museum or something, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has got one like that. That book was drawn, well, it gives the guy's name in there, drawn and pictured. But he was actually with the troops in the front lines and see them, what happened, and he draws that and then writes it up and made a book out of it that way. Pretty interesting thing.
All hand-drawn pictures.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It shows pretty much in detail what a lot of the things happened. I mean, people have
This is by William Rutherford.
yeah.
We'll
Well, yeah, just said
we'll talk about it. Tell me, Leo, if there are any memories or thoughts that you would like to share with the people who see this at the museum, thoughts, maybe just in general about life, about the military, about being in World War II,
yeah.
or just about America in general. What are some kind of thoughts you'd like to share with people who see this?
Well, yeah, like in World War II was an essential war because we were attacked and we had to defend ourselves and other people around the world. And there was no other way. Otherwise, we could have been enslaved by the dictators and whatever. Where now, like I think with this war, like in Iraq and stuff, they got their reasons, but I don't know if their reasons fit the thing. It's their country, and if they got, like old Saddam was a cruel guy, they should have took care of him themselves instead of us getting involved, because we're the warmongers now on account of that. Like when they went in the Gulf War, when they went into Kuwait and they chased them out of there. That was a little different again. See, he was starting his dictatorship, gobbling up other countries, and they kicked him back. They should have let it go at that, and they had him under control enough so he wasn't going to make war on anybody else. And now we're into it, losing American boys, and I don't know if the benefits ain't going to do nothing for this country. We're just going trillions of dollars in debt. And I know when Eisenhower was president, he warned the people about military industrialists, you see, to be careful. And I don't think people really took him serious. And this is what he was talking about. Now, we got the industrialists making profits. In the military, you got the 4 stars getting big hurrahs and big pensions and all that stuff. But is that good for America? That's where a lot of these countries around the world blame us for being warmongers. And I don't think that's a fair thing to have a government do to our country. That's what I feel about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, what else would you want to know?
Well, I'd like to ask, are you active in any organizations, VFW, veterans?
Yeah, I'm a life veteran of the VFW. We had VFW club here in Henning, and I joined it as a life member. But now we got so thin, they decided it wasn't, nobody wanted to take care of all the bookwork and all the problems, so they closed it down. So I went to Wadena VFW and put my membership in there, life membership. So I still get the magazine and well, I get this VFW. I get that paper every month. And that's, well, but the trouble is now, my eyes I got that macular degeneration, and I can't read very good. I got this thing here, magnifying glass. My son gave me that for reading. It helps, but it's kind of a slow process. So you give up pretty quick. And
Are there any memories, before we close off on this, that you maybe have that are coming to you right now that you'd still like to share with us? I want to make sure that we capture anything that you might want to talk about.
As far as the military goes, I wish that they would have more concern about these young people being taken off to the military under the pretense if you join the military for so many years, then you will get a college, paid for a college tuition for, I don't know, 2 years or 4 years. That, to my estimation, is kind of tricky. You're just pulling a trick on them people. And I think if there's such a thing, we have to go to war. Start up a draft and draft everybody equally. And that, to my estimation, is more solid. As far as wanting to join the military and make a career of it, that's fine and dandy. But they shouldn't use a kind of a con game to get you in there. Do it because of a decent reason. You want to join the military to serve and get your pensions or whatever you get out of it, and be treated like not a kind of a jerk. You're treated like a decent person.
Well, I want to wrap this up by saying that we are very proud of the fact that you were in the World War II and what you did for this country and the pain that you went through.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for sharing this story with us today.
Yeah.
It means a lot to the people who are going to be seeing this in the museum in the generations to come. So, Leo, with that, I want to thank you.
I hope
And
this
Carol
works
will-
out in your museum so the future generations will learn by it. It's an education.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Here's part of the PX gang when we was in Japan there. That was just kind of the beginning of that PX there. It was kind of a crumbled down thing, and
Well, there is a picture of you leaving from Faribault, too.
oh, okay.
I put the name all on the back in the process of it, but we haven't named yet.
That's my pictures of my hunting. I like to hunt them coyotes and stuff like that, and them are some of the pictures. I think you got one there that's one with the snowmobile.
Where's this one at? It looks like you're standing by a tree there.
Yeah, that's in Wakayama. Part of that is where we had the beer garden back there, the building that I'm standing in front. It's a kind of a crummy affair to start with. Down there, what it starts them two little insignias, maybe if I get around over here. These little insignias are the 161st Regiment. That's their insignia for there. And then this is the 25th Division insignia. And this here's my, from expert infantry. That's expert rifleman. That's one from basic training. And then this here is South Pacific campaign. And then this one here is, what is that? Occupational, from Japanese occupational. And then this here one is World War II medal. And this here is good conduct. And this here is combat infantry badge. And this here is an insignia for the 161st Infantry Regiment. And then this here is a ribbon that's for Japanese, Philippine, what did they call that? I can't remember. Where they, Philippine Liberation, that's what that was. And then that's the whole circle, I guess. That picture is when I come out of basic training. I was 18 years old then. So, if I'd have went to high school, I'd have graduated about the time I landed on the Leyte. But I was too ornery to go to school that much, I guess. I'd rather farm. I quit and farm. You know, this is...
Well, we could make copies of this. I
Yeah,
just want to
you-
make sure you get everything back.
Yeah, just, you might want to do that because it has the reading when it happened. I know that, well, he becomes squad leader, and it tells in there, but them tanks, Japanese tanks, come out from under them bamboo houses they made, you know. And the guy, and he become my squad leader later on, but he got one of them tanks with his bazooka. Yeah. But we was always, you know, fighting they were dug into holes and caves and stuff, and that was our doing fighting. That's why we lost so many guys. I know we had an awful time there carrying people out of the woods that were shot up and stuff.
That was in the Philippines.
Yeah, and there was Japs all over the place, and you'd get shot at doing things like that. It was a hard life, but it was, you know, I figure I was just lucky to live through that good. When 8 out of 10 get shot up, why, you know, you're lucky too.
That's for sure.
So I felt pretty good about that. But that's when we were drafted at in front of Rice County Courthouse, and well,
It was the day you left, I suppose.
yeah. After I took that picture, then we got on the bus and we went up to Fort Snelling.